Well, hello folks, welcome. I'm off the Christmas cheer, back on the straight and narrow, and that means it is time for the first test ride of 2018. And today I'm going to take you over the Kawasaki Z900RS. RS stands for Retro Sport. So a few months back I did the Z900 traditional naked bike. This is a similar platform. Few differences which I'll get into as we get going. It's got rave reviews so far. People that remember the original Z1 from the 70s absolutely love it. So I'm very keen to get on, see how it compares to the Z900, see how it compares to other bikes in this segment, and just have a bit of fun on this absolutely gorgeous looking machine. Let's get going. Whoa, oh, I am excited. Well, it seems like I wasn't lucky enough to miss the morning traffic. Well, so far I can confirm that it's easy to lane split on. Alright, so if you've watched these videos before, you will know that I've got a great partnership with the guys here at Sydney City Motorcycles in Lane Cove, so thank you again to them for giving me a chance to ride this special beast. If you do end up enjoying the video, feel free to drop a like down below. The guys do watch the videos, and the better it does, the more likely they are to let me keep taking bikes out, so appreciate the support. Right, Z900RS. Seems like a pretty simple formula, right? You take a nice naked bike, which we already know is a great performer, style it in a retro way, and you're good to go, right? That's kind of what I want to cover on this test ride. We know that underneath the DNA is pretty similar, so I want to kind of see what kind of obvious differences there are with the Z900 and what makes this bike different, I guess. So you've got the same near-on 950cc power plant, 4-cylinder. First major difference, which is quite common with these retro bikes, is they have retuned the engine. So instead of making about 125 horsepower, which it does in the Z900 form, it makes about 105 quoted for this. However, because of the changes, you get more torque lower in the rev range. So that generally adds up to a more streetable package. One other noticeable difference to the engine package is they have shortened first gear. So again, that has the impact of making the bike feel a bit more torquey and a bit more peppy in the low revs and in the lower gears. So I'm sat here at the entrance to a freeway, which is usually where I do a bit of an acceleration test. So let's see what the Z900RS is like. Wow. The short answer is plenty quick enough. Oh, and what I love about it is just the bark through that exhaust. It's got a beautiful induction howl. I read that they have actually modified the exhaust a little bit to give it a different sound, like a bit more of a bassy kind of sound. That's definitely noticeable. And as always, I took a little sound clip before I got going to give you a feel for what it sounds like. So I'll splice that in here. Here's what the Z900RS sounds like. So big tick for the power plant, nice and torquey, peppy off the bottom, and then revs cleanly all the way to the 10,000 RPM red line. So I did say at the top of the video that this is like a Z900, but they have made some differences. So we've talked about retuning the engine, we've talked about the shorter gearing. Another major one that they've done is they've actually modified the frame so that you can fit this long flat seat that you see. So I'll splice in a bit of footage here of the seat layout, and just because it's such a gorgeous bike in general. But you'll notice it is a bit more of a long flat seat, which suits kind of touring, and it's going to suit two uprighting really well also. And I must say it is super comfortable. Like, I'm sat here in like pretty much a bolt upright position. My hands fall directly to the handlebars. I've just got that slight arch in my back that's nice for, you know, cruisy riding. And then I've got this nice wide tapered into a sort of teardrop tank, which means that no matter how long or short your legs are, you're going to have a nice comfy place to sit. So in terms of like an all-round place to sit and enjoy, really good. And it all starts with that modified frame, which allows them to pack that flat seat on. Just talking about the seating position and the bars, another thing you notice straight away on this is that the bars are raised a bit more than a Z900, and they're also chromed. So that's another thing I'll keep coming back to over and over in this video, is there's so much nice little detail on this bike, which just gives it a real charm. I love it. We'll talk a bit more about the styling features in a sec, because we're coming up to a little spot here, which is an integral part of the test. The car park test. So if you've not seen one of my videos before, I use this car park to just do a bit of slow speed maneuvering, just to get a feel for how easy it is to do. And because this is the first time I've ridden the bikes, I feel like it's a good test. The bikes that are super easy to maneuver, they're going to shine in these situations. The ones that aren't so easy, well, they're going to struggle. So here we go. Got my foot on the rear brake, fast idle, and I'll just try and do a U-turn here. Oh, and that's super tight. Like that's as short a turning circle as I've done on just about any bike. So good news there as well. Z900, whilst it's got a bit of weight, you know, you've got a big 4-cylinder engine there, but it must be fairly low in the frame because you don't feel the weight. Those upright handlebars give you heaps of steering lock, so you can turn them tight straight away. And yeah, piece of cake really. Good stuff. Alrighty, so back to the styling. Lots and lots of nice little details to enjoy on this. The paint's amazing. You know, you've got this lovely Jaffa orange and then a brown which has like a sparkle to it. Very interesting. The Kawasaki badge on the tank here is like got a nice brushed aluminium kind of look to it. You got the nice RS badging. You got these beautiful analog gauges, but they haven't skimped on the technology. I don't know if you can see, but there's a nice little small digital display in the middle as well, which gives you all the other info that you need. So you're not actually missing out on any information by having these nice gauges. It's just generally all around a very nice thing to look at. Like, styling's pretty subjective, but I think you'd be hard pressed to find somebody who doesn't like the look of this bike. Another feature this bike has that you won't find on the Z900 is traction control. So this bike has 2 levels of traction control and an off. So that's going to help a bit in those less than ideal conditions that you might find yourself in as well. I find this usually ends up being a pretty good place to do a brake test because you can get a bit of space here, nothing behind me. Squeeze the levers really hard. Those brakes are really good, really good. So you've got Kawasaki's own monoblocks on there, but I'm pleased to report that in good conditions at least, the brakes do a stellar job. A little bit of ABS feedback through the lever, but that's to be expected, right? This is the on-ramp to a highway, so I'm going to bang it back to second because this is another good opportunity for roll-on acceleration. So here we go, onto the highway. Oh, that's addictive. It hasn't lost any of that Z900 character, I'll tell you that now. I loved the way the Z900 engine felt because it was just smooth, linear, but torque all the way through the rev range. Not like a 600 sports bike where, you know, there's not a lot happening and then it gets really manic towards the top. I found that this was a really nice streetable 4-cylinder, smooth, progressive power all the way through. And the RS is no different. And it just feels like a really nice street engine, to be honest. It's probably worth talking about the suspension a little bit. I mean, this is a bike with sporty intentions, but obviously with the relaxed seat, the higher handlebars, they're going to want it to be comfortable. And I'm pleased to say the ride quality is really good. I mean, these roads I'm riding around on, they've got plenty of bumps and holes in them, and it's handling it well. The low speed stuff like this, where you're going to be dawdling around town on it, it's not going to make you tired, it's not going to make you frustrated. It's an easy bike to get along with. So if you're considering a Z900RS, you got a few options, which is cool. So I'm riding the standard RS, except that it has this brown and orange paint scheme that I was talking about. That adds a little bit to the cost. You can get a plain black one, which is a bit cheaper than this. You can get one with like a Cafe Racer cowl on the front of it, which I think looks super cool. And that's in like retro Kawasaki green. And I guess if you're considering one of these kind of retro sport type bikes, you do have a few other options as well, but I'm not sure that any of them are like in direct competition with this. I feel like this is filling a niche all of its own. Because the first bike I thought of is like the Ducati Scrambler, or like maybe the Classic or the Cafe Racer. But the big difference there is that bike's only got 75 horsepower. So you're getting a lot more grunt from a Z900RS than you would if you bought a Scrambler. Scramblers are a bit cheaper though. So I guess you've kind of got the Scrambler underneath. Yamaha's got the XSR 900. I feel like that's a pretty good competitor to this actually. The XSR 900 is a bit cheaper than the 900RS. But again, you don't get a 954 cylinder, you get an 853 cylinder. So you're going to get more grunt with the Z900RS. And then I guess you've got a few other options like the BMW R9T, which I think makes similar power to this thing but is a lot more expensive. And then I guess you've got a Triumph Thruxton, which I'm not sure about the performance of the Thruxton. I've never ridden one, but that's a lot dearer than one of these bikes as well. So you can see there's kind of a couple of bikes that are below it and a couple of bikes that are above it. So I feel like Kawasaki's hit a nice little sweet spot here where you sort of just pick your poison, and you know, if you love the smooth 4 cylinders, or you're just really in love with the old Z1 and you want to get a nice modern equivalent, I think this could be your bike. One thing I am noticing in these town situations with a lot of on-off throttle, the very first little opening of the throttle is kind of a bit jerky. I think it's the ride-by-wire thing. It doesn't ruin the experience, it's just something you have to kind of be a bit mindful of, I guess. But I mean, that would be like half a mark down out of 10. Oh my god, look at this guy pushing his like 300 kilogram Harley on a 30-degree day. I feel for that guy. Yeah, it's hot today, folks, and that poor guy is pushing his 300 plus kilogram Harley road glide, street glide, batwing thing along the footpath. So, not the best day ever for him. So there you have it, folks. Almost back at the dealership. All done with the Kawasaki Z900, and I'm pleased to report that it's pretty much exactly what I hoped it would be. So I loved the Z900. I loved its easy access to performance, how pure and simple it was, and just its all-round quality. And the Z900RS is exactly that, in a cool looking frame. And the changes that they've made just make it that little bit more comfortable, that little bit more stylish, and I mean, you lose like a fraction of the performance, so win-win really. So I do these test rides on a pretty regular basis, so if you're interested in keeping up with the latest, feel free to hit that subscribe button down below and you'll get notifications whenever I chuck a new video up. So if you've made it this far, thanks again for watching, guys. Really appreciate the support. and looking forward to bringing you another test ride video real soon. Take it easy.